Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to talk about the person on this coin, Alberto Santos Dumont. This is a 1936 Brazil 5000 race. And I bought this on eBay. It just came through the mail today. And I got a pretty good deal on it. I actually got this coin for under melt. So the melt is today is about $6.43. I got this coin for $5.59. Probably because of the condition it's in. You can see it's not in the greatest condition. So I'm going to dip it in eZest, and we're going to see how it comes out. And as I dip it, I'm going to talk a little bit about Alberto Santos Dumont. I mean, to me, he's an amazing person, and he's a hero in Brazil. They even named the city Santos Dumont after him, which that was the city he was born in. So let's get to it. So here's what the coin looks like before. And you'll probably hear a storm in the background. I'm actually recording this video in the middle of tornado watch. So I was kind of bored. Everybody's watching the weather. So I decided to make a coin video. And also it might kind of add a little bit of extra character to this video. Because even though the description that I'm going to give of Santos Dumont is amazing. It's an amazing story. This guy was a genius, but it does end in a sad, ironic twist. So maybe the background thunder will add a little bit of extra character to it. Anyways, let's get started. And if the power goes out, I'll continue this video when the power comes back on. So Alberto Santos Dumont was not a politician. He was somewhat royalty, but overall he was the true pioneer of aviation. And this is actually the second coin I've had. I had another one, but I sold it. I wish I wouldn't have. But this one is going to my personal collection. I am not selling this one. Alberto Santos Dumont was born on July 20th, 1873 in Brazil. His story and legacy was so great that they named the city he was born in after him, which is Santos Dumont, Brazil. His father was a coffee plantation owner, and he was inspired by the machinery his father had, and he dreamed of becoming a tinkerer. If he was around in the 2010s, he probably would have enjoyed crystal meth. Just joking. In 1898, he built the first gas-fueled engine to efficiently power a dirigible, which is a lighter-than-air aeroplane. It had a 3.5 horsepower engine and could fly as fast as 10 miles an hour. There were a few times where he nearly died, surviving by miracles, like a cat with 9 lives. In 1899, he was the first person to fly in the air other than a hot air balloon in his dirigible number 1. This guy eventually went to France and opened up his own hydrogen generating plant and hangar workshop in Paris. Santos felt that flying in the air was a spiritual experience that soothed the soul and opened the mind, basically free your mind and the ass will follow. He loved being in the air because he felt like he was leaving society behind and he was all alone with his own thoughts and he could find himself. I've heard a lot of roofers say that too. Santos thought that by creating airships, it would be more than just a means of transportation. It would be a vehicle, making the world a better and more peaceful place. He truly thought that airships were a key to world peace. He thought that people meeting face to face could handle situations and get along better and solve problems they may have had without the opportunity of actually meeting face to face. Remember, this was just 13 years or so before World War I. In April 1900, Henry Deutsch, a wealthy French oil magnate, offered 100,000 francs, or 20,000 USD, to the first person who could fly 3.5 miles from St. Cloud to the Eiffel Tower and back within 30 minutes or less, which would require an airspeed of at least 15 miles an hour. Deutsch thought this was nearly impossible. Santos loved being in the air so much, he would have social dinner parties he called the aerial dinner parties, where everybody would sit at tables 7 feet off the ground and eat to enjoy the aerial experience. A lot of the people that he entertained were celebrities and royalty. On October 19, 1901, he took to the air in his dirigible number 6. Thousands of people gathered to watch in Paris. Some say it was the largest group of people to ever gather together in the world at that time. Everybody danced to party as he got around halfway. Kind of like how they do with SpaceX today, right? He was going around the Eiffel Tower and his engine stalled, but he was able to get it restarted. He got to the finish line at 29 minutes and 15 seconds, but since he overshot the landing, he had to come back around, and he touched the ground another minute and a half later. The Aerial Club ruled that he did not finish within 30 minutes. That motherfucker was pissed, and so was the public. So eventually the president of the Aerial Club ruled that he won the challenge. He was only 28 years old at the time. If you were to ask anybody before the Wright brothers came along who was the first person to fly in the air, everybody around the world would say Alberto Santos. He was the most famous boss. Everybody wanted to be like or be with him. He was so appealing that men would dress and walk around dressed up like him in his pimp suit and hat. Some of them even copied his red tie he wore. They called him Le Petit Santos. Even though he could have gotten any woman he wanted, he probably preferred men, but that's just a speculation. In 1906, he debuted his airship number 9, as he called it, Baloo, which was a third the size of number 6. And Santos flew that bitch everywhere. He flew it to dinner, he flew it for shopping, he flew it home, and still nobody has done it like him till today. He was a boss. In 1903, he started experimenting with heavier-than-air airships, which are closer to modern airplanes today. But that same year, he started hearing rumors about 2 brothers that were doing experimental airplane projects secretly in the United States. The 1903 version of Area 51. Some people in that time would have considered it a conspiracy theory. Them dirty, rotten scoundrels were keeping their design secret so they could patent it later. Santos started becoming more of a recluse, and he risked his entire wealth and reputation to create an heavier-than-air aircraft. And he kept this project from the public. In 1906, the Aero Club of France made another proposition for the first pilot to fly an airplane 100 meters. This proposition was proposed in 1904, but no one even tried it. When they heard of Santos' flights, they were actually in disbelief. They couldn't believe that someone was crazy enough and stupid enough to even attempt to fly in something so dangerous and out of control. But then again, Santos was a boss. Okay, that'll be the last time, I promise. The Wright brothers understood the most important thing of flight was control. They achieved control through a technique called wing warping, which is where the driver could control the wingtips by a wire. In August 1908, the Wright brothers were ready to come out with their design. After they had patented it, of course. Patent first, ask questions later. Out of total douchebaggery, they decided to reveal their design in Paris, in Santos' backyard, or maybe his front yard like a dog taking a dump. Instantly, the Wright brothers became royalty and everybody forgot about Santos. He was devastated. But within a few years, everybody started making airplanes, so the Wright brothers were only kings for like a year. In Paris, it was. But Santos came back with a vengeance. In 1908, he debuted his new design, the Dragonfly. And this one was far more advanced than the Wright brothers' flyer. Santos had the ability to change his design on a second's notice, because the Wright brothers ironically patented their design, which hindered them and made it harder for them to make changes whenever they wanted. And in the Dragonfly, Santos reached a top speed of 55 miles an hour. Well, I guess everybody was singing that song. Sorry. Unlike the greedy Wright brothers, Santos refused to patent any of his designs. He considered his designs a gift to the world. He cared more about the future of aviation than commercializing his designs. He cared more about world peace and the future of humanity. If you ever seen a small ultralight airplane taking off or landing at a regional airport, that was Santos' design. So f*** the Wright brothers. I'm on Team Santos. But that was the end of the happiness for this story. In 1910, Santos was 100 feet in the air when a bracing wire snapped and collapsed a wing. Santos fell from the sky 100 feet. He lived, but he was changed forever, forever damaged. And at 36 years old, he would never fly again. He was kind of like the John Hughes of aviation. He retired to the French countryside and became a recluse. And then came World War I. His dedication to aviation had inspired the plane designs that were used to kill thousands, possibly millions of people. And the opposite of world peace that he dreamed became his nightmare. It literally drove him insane. He could no longer fly, and he had zero chances of finding peace on Earth anymore. In 1927, Charles Lindbergh invited him to join him on the first transatlantic flight. As you may have heard before, higher IQs usually lead to higher rates of depression. Santos was absolutely intelligent, and because of World War I, he had become absolutely tormented. In 1931, his family brought him back to Brazil, thinking it would help. But shortly after he arrived in Brazil, Civil War broke out. This dude just couldn't get a break from the evils within humanity. On July 23, 1923, at a beach resort, trying to calm his insanity, he saw two aircrafts flying overhead, and one of them shot the other one down, and it landed and crashed just 1 mile from his room. He could hear it. He was in an elevator, and an elevator operator overheard him say, "I never thought my invention would cause the bloodshed between brothers. What have I done?" And that was the end. The truth was, Santos hung himself that night. His family and everybody that loved him reported that he had a heart attack, so that his reputation of Brazil's greatest hero would never be tarnished. Well, I hope you liked this video. I hope it wasn't too dark, but this was an extremely important story for me. And I've just loved this coin. I love the story of Santos for the longest. Ever since high school, when I learned that the Wright brothers were not the first people in aviation. All right, so I think I'm done with it. I think if I try to clean it anymore, it's just me kind of nitpicking. But this took 13 minutes of just a few dips, a few Q-tips, a magic eraser, and a microfiber towel. You can see this is what it looks like. And it looks a lot better than it did before. Before, you could barely read it. When my son opened the package, he didn't know what coin it was at first because it was so dirty. Now, it's clean. Now you can really enjoy the coin. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. I read every single comment, so if you comment, I'll comment. We'll all comment together. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me go check and make sure everything's okay because, like I said, it's been storming the whole entire time. Well, thank you for watching.